All right. This meeting, all the meetings, this committee open to the public. Proper notice been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes. So the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of the meeting. Roll call.
Gunderson?
Here.
Appleby?
Here.
Bain?
Here.
Not present is Brenner, Stelzner, Potratz.
And
Bayman.
Bayman. All right. I guess we look for a motion to approve the minutes from the December 8th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 8th, 2015 meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries. Citizens' appearances? None. Discussion of the 2016 events.
We've kind of had this as a standing item. We have talked about the fact that we haven't had a whole lot of luck with bands. We've had some commit and then tell us that their schedule wasn't going to work. That's been the case for one of the local bands as well as Back and Kickin', who said yes they were in, and then one of their schedules wasn't going to work. But when Back and Kickin' had said that it wasn't going to work for them, they gave us three names. Paper City Trio, which is three guys from the Appleton area, one from, there's like three pretty well-known bands like Rooftop Jumpers. It's three guys that are one person out of another band that kind of get together. We did drop a line to them. Haven't heard back if the date would not work. And then the other one was, it's a band called Just Lookin'. Another one out of the valley that we had dropped a line to as well. So I haven't heard back on either one of those.
For our volunteer appreciation party that we had this last September, the volunteer coordinator had gotten Starfire, I believe. And it's a husband and a wife. And they kind of play like country type, but it was pretty, I thought it was pretty good. I wanted to mind dancing around and a little bit more instead of working, but the baby, and I think they're local too.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can try to get the contact information for them.
It couldn't hurt.
Yeah. That'd be good too. One of the thoughts would be if and when we get a band, and we will. In the past, we've had them play for a couple hours before the fireworks and then end. I think there was some thought about having them potentially play to the fireworks and after the fireworks, or to and through and after. That's maybe something we should talk about.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's going to be, a band's availability and what type of equipment they have too.
Right.
So, should be that.
I don't know about during, but I think after might be fun.
Yeah, to keep the party going a
Keep
little
the
bit
party
longer.
going.
Yeah.
That's something that we'll consider for sure. I would think by next month it might be a good idea too, or maybe with the new committee after the elections when the committee gets set, to talk about the idea of this being a free event and just having the band, because I think we had talked about some
Right.
groups that might be interested in doing something,
Yeah.
but maybe not something for free though, and whether
Right.
or not that's something that might be appropriate for the event or not. It's just something to think about, I think.
Well, I know what Brian did. It talked about the fire department possibly, and I think that would be a fine thing because it's still municipal.
Well, and even if we had some of the nonprofit groups do popcorn or water or something, there might be those people that would forget something. I don't know that they would make a whole lot of money, but just the fact that they had that opportunity to support their club a little bit.
Yep.
Minimal, but something for
Yeah.
the people that don't want to pack.
Okay.
Like RSVPing or maybe not for the next meeting, so sorry about
Probably
that.
not. Okay.
So there's that. The other thing that we've got is we've talked about the idea of the outdoor movie or the community movie. And we've also talked about the investment or the cost involved with the equipment or somebody to get the equipment. One thought that I've had that we should probably talk about, which is a weatherproof idea, would be the idea that with the new City Hall building, we're going to have the community room set up and wired for DVD and movie capabilities downstairs with a room for 80 to 90 people. You could take the tables out. You could have an indoor setting. The other thing we'd have would be the council meeting room upstairs has a 12-foot drop-down screen. Problem with that is that's a carpeted
I think you're better
area,
off
so
keeping them downstairs.
downstairs we've got the tiled floor, but
Yeah.
you know, we'd
Yeah.
have potentially an option to have something that we'd already have the investment made in. We wouldn't have to go buy or rent equipment for one night. The movies we've talked about being $200 to $300 for a one-time showing. If that's the only cost that's involved and you could have something in that building, that might not be the worst thing to look at. And with that, you could literally have it like year-round
I was
too.
gonna say, that would be
That would-
nice to have something in
that-
the winter,
that
when we're
would
all
be-
bored.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have to worry about anything. That might be quite nice.
And there's something else, you know, the city could maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there because I couldn't possibly have my hands on it, a popcorn popper, where we could actually pop our own popcorn, give it out free, and maybe buy a bunch of water and just make it a free event with our, you know, from us to everybody.
The metals class, or I don't know, somebody in the metals department just made a popcorn maker
Oh.
for the band, I believe, is how it all went down. But that might be something cool to look into too, is what they did and how they did it. I would assume it was part of a class. So
yeah.
Well, that might be really neat.
yeah,
that would
I
be-
don't know. I had to do stickers for him, so he put like WF band and whatnot on it. So I'm not sure why Tech Ed made one for band, but that was.
That
I'll
might
talk
have been
to
a
him.
class project that they, you know, because they do have to do a certain number
It
of.
might have been.
Yep.
I'll talk to him and ask him what it all entailed.
Great.
Other than that, you know, we're gonna have the swim lake open again. There's some room for some more recreational programming or some kind of involving something there because we do have a staff that's running that. So we sort of have a built-in city staff that could work or run events. I don't know that we've taken advantage of that a whole lot in the last few years,
No.
maybe ever. And I don't know, I only know so far back, but
At one time we did, but that's been when you were in middle school.
I know they had done stuff before. I talked to Tim a little bit about that and some of the other girls that were potentially coming back for this summer.
Yep.
And they said they would be interested in helping with whatever anybody came up with. Some of them seemed like they had some pretty good ideas because their focus was early child education and stuff. So
Okay.
might be something that we could tap into once the season gets started.
Yep. And I think we talked about last year, we did start to hire people that are like 15, but when they're 15, legally they can't be licensed to be lifeguards. Now, we still let them work there. You know, we might have some more options too if we started to advertise more of like either a
Right.
concessionaire or a, whatever you want to call it. You know, it'd be somebody that works at the swim lake that's not necessarily a lifeguard, but is still available to help out with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Free babysitting.
is.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
use it as that too.
Yeah. That's about, I think, all that I've kind of got out on the radar there. That's probably a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about as a committee, I think, too. So, anything else at all?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing, Nick, were you still interested in trying to work on doing block parties in neighborhoods?
I am. We turned out to be a little bit more, so we're gonna have to work on that again. Because I still think it's a good idea.
I would be up to trying in our neighborhood. We have a great group of neighbors. We just had some new people move in. They seem pretty nice. So they were living out in the country and now
Oh.
moved into the city. So just met her today. So because me and my mouth, I can't always be quiet. I always have to
Yeah,
be-
that's okay though.
That's a
It's
good
all right.
thing.
Be neighborly.
Yeah, so, and
good.
they're really nice and stuff, so, and our neighbors right next to us too, I started meeting their kids, and the kids are really nice and well-behaved, so I would love to, you know, give it a whirl if we're still working on trying
Yep.
to get stuff like that going, so,
Good.
awesome.
Awesome.
Good. That's all I've got on the events.
So you got?
Should be good.
Okay. We're gonna buy more banners,
Yes.
different.
Yes. We would like to, yeah. Going through some of the other communities, London, Hortonville, I think even Weyauwega, they have seasonal more than just summer, winter.
I don't think.
Good thing we got now is summer, winter anyway.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think they necessarily have to all say City of Weyauwega on them.
right.
I think you could get away with like every other.
If even that, I've noticed quite a few of the seasonal ones
Yeah.
just say welcome or
Okay.
this or that, and they don't always have to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a nice touch when you go into and you see I've been noticing it more since we put ours up for the Christmas season too, just how everybody does stuff, and it's really nice. It adds,
Weyauwega has got some nice ones.
yeah.
Yep. We've got the lift ordered and rented to get them down too.
I was just looking at them when I was sitting out there. I'm like,
Yeah.
those need to come down now.
I mean, there's holidays year round, so happy holidays. No, I'm kidding.
Happy holidays. Cover them all. Put a lot of
Didn't say
color
which,
on them.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay. And I guess we're on to the swim lake report.
yeah. So we have a summary that's in your packet. And so you have two sheets. There's one that we break down the revenue a little bit, something of a detail on the revenue. The last few years, our focus, 2013-14, had been on trying to get our costs reined in. And I think we're settled into the $48,000 to $49,000 range to run the swim lake from year to year, which I believe is down about $5,000 from 2012, 2011. So we did a lot of good work on that. You'll also remember that when it comes to the fees we charge, we've kept them the same. And so where our expenses have been in the $48,000, $49,000 range, our revenues typically are in the $15,000 range. And when we look at a summary here, which is that first page, our revenues for 2015 were $15,339. The budget was $15,000, so we beat that by $300 some dollars. The expenses, I believe we had budgeted about $48,500 to get into that range of where we think it's going to cost us. Ended up costing us $51,704.23. And then I do have a note on there. I think Mr. Potratz had been here, and we talked about the idea that we had a larger than expected turnover.
Right.
Or larger than expected amount of
Training
kids that
needs.
weren't coming back. So we ended up training almost a full staff. I think maybe 2 employees had been back or returned. And with that, we ended up coordinating the training. And we ended up hiring a instructor. The good news about the instructor is that she came here and trained them here, which we've never had before too. But with that, her cost, and I do have that as a line item, the training, the certification through the Red Cross, that came in just under $1,800. If you back that out, we're in the little under $50,000 range. So that's a good thing. And the formula we're looking at here is, so there's revenues, which are the fees that we charge at the swim lake. There's the expenses to run it, and then the difference essentially is what's funded by the tax levy.
Right.
And that is roughly, when we budget $15,000 in revenue and we budget 48 some thousand in expenses, we're looking at a $33,000 to $34,000 that we count on in tax money to keep that going. That's the cost to provide the service at the swim lake. And so this year, in 2015, it ended up being $36,365.23 is what comes out of the tax levy. Because we've had a good focus on our expenses the last couple of years, I think we had talked about the idea that this is going to be the year we look at the revenues.
Yep.
And that will bring you to the next sheet. And I can start off by saying that there's going to be a review and probably a recommendation to you at the next month's meeting on increasing some of our fees. Not so much to make money, but to lessen the amount of tax money or the amount of cost on running the swim lake. And we do have, and I've got both the sheets sort of in front of me here. When it comes to daily passes, these are the children, adults, or seniors that just come to the swim lake, don't have a pass. We charge $2 for the children and seniors for the day, $3 for adults. We ended up having 2,151 children last year, 742 adults on a day pass, and then 53 seniors. That means that on day passes alone, we raise $6,634, which is a healthy amount. And then we have a breakdown on family passes, or on season passes. And the season pass is a family pass. It's a family plus one, which is typically a grandparent, aunt, uncle, maybe a babysitter or a neighbor. We have an adult pass and then a child pass. And within that, we break it out by resident and non-resident. So the family pass for residents $45, family pass for non-resident is $55, and so on. A little bit of a difference of about $5. If you're a resident, you save $5. You can see on here, and I won't go through all these categories, but you can see each pass, what the cost is for the pass, and then how many we actually had brought in last year. Out of the residents, we had 60 season passes combined. Came in $2,705, which is a good amount. On the non-residents, we had 17 passes, all of them combined. It brought in $820. That's a combined $3,525 off of season passes. So again, that's a good amount.
That's a good amount, but I'm just surprised there aren't more season passes.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at that too.
It's a shocking thing to me to see how
Yeah.
many more daily passes you have in season.
So with that, one of the items to look at is going to be the next logical item to look at on the sheet. It's the swim lessons. And with swim lessons, if you have a pass, whether you're a resident or non-resident, you save $10 on swim lessons. Now, the numbers that we have here, we have 3 sessions throughout the year. A lot of times kids will be enrolled in all 3 sessions, so they would count as 3 attendees here. For the morning lessons, for the summer, again, it's non-residents, residents, whether you had a swim pass or not. Had 87 kids sign up for a session at a time. That brought us $2,030. For the PM lessons, which is usually the 5 to 6 p.m., we had 72, which brings us the $1,645. So combined there, we ended up with it's just about $3,700 in swim lessons, which is a good thing. But what's interesting is you're really only saving $10 on swim lessons if you've bought a swimming pass. And typically what's happening is the people that are in swim lessons are buying a family pass. So you're paying $45. If you're a resident family, you're paying $45 for the pass, and then you're saving $10 on the swim lessons. It's hard to look at these numbers, and we'd have to go back the last couple of years and just see, how many non-residents, what the comparisons are. The tough thing to look at is, there's a lot of people that just don't buy a pass. Non-residents is basically what we're seeing in the swim lessons. We had 62 kids that are non-residents that didn't have a pass that are paying $30 for swim lessons. Now, if you have a family pass, you're paying $45 and then you're paying $15 for the swim lessons. I mean, you end up paying $60 if you have a family pass and one of your kids takes swim lessons. There's one of the things I'll look at for next month is whether a $10 savings on swim lessons is enough to get people to get a season pass, or whether the non-pass holders should maybe pay a little bit more for swim lessons. And in general, what we'll look at too is a 3-week swim class for $15, is that reasonable, or could you charge $20 or $25? So that's one of the things we'll look at.
3-week swim class. It's
If-
every day, isn't it?
Is it
Monday through Friday?
3? Yeah,
Monday through Friday.
for 3 weeks.
For
Like,
3 weeks, and it's
for
an
a half-
hour a day.
Half an hour.
Half
Half an
hour.
Yep. We'll take a look at that.
It's dirt cheap, guys.
Compared, I think it is. I think it is.
It's because the night one is an hour or 45 minutes. I think now they made
Yep.
it to, and we're only charging. We're basically charging the same price, and they get a little bit more time at night than they do during the daytime.
Well, that's something you might want to consider.
We'll look into that. And just like with the shelter rentals, we compared Weyauwega, New London, and we found that we could raise the shelter rentals $10 or $20 for the new one, and still
Nobody
be
would
cheaper than the
notice.
neighbors. So look at New London for sure. I mean, it's a different facility. It's hard to compare what we have to a pool in Iola or aquatic
Right.
center in Iola and that, but
Doesn't
I think it's cheap.
Weyauwega do their swim lessons at South Park?
They do, and actually, what were they? I looked into them, but because I'm non-resident, I want to say it was
It was expensive.
it's gonna be like $40 for $40 or $45 for non-resident,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of things in Wapaka are high, but I think these numbers are very low to me. I mean, I have Isabel
Yeah.
dance, gymnastics, and swimming lessons. And this, like, I mean, heck, I'd put her in swimming lessons year round. It's cheap entertainment. It really is. And I honestly think that this is way nicer than South Park, only because the water's not so cold. I mean, it's cold. South Park is really cold.
yeah.
So, yeah.
That's one of the areas to look at, and again, it's not so much to try to make money.
You're never going to make money.
We're
to
trying
offset a
or make
little
more
bit.
money. We're trying
Right.
to reduce what it costs.
Lower the cost,
everyone.
right?
I think
mean,
that's a reasonable way to look at it for sure.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Mhm.
And the concessions is always a big thing, because I just know with my kids in sports, they like
Yeah.
gobble things right after. And I know swimming lessons are the exact same thing for my kids. They always have to have money so they can grab a bunch of stuff when they get done swimming. so-
Concession sales seem low to me.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Is it because they they do like the freezies that are a quarter and that, is that it?
Oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely, because they're the
I mean, you could
airheads are
triple
quarter,
that.
and we're going.
Easy.
We sold 1,000 airheads last year at a quarter, and they cost us 11 cents. So I mean, we're making 14
Right.
cents on those. But the big thing is, so the concessions, we raised $1,505,
Mm-hmm.
and in here, I mean, we list that as a revenue, $1,505. But what it's
Okay.
costing us is
But it really
$700 to
Right.
buy all the product.
Right.
And then our profit on that is $804. Now, I think we've talked for the last few years that I've been here, we've been buying our concessions at like wholesale, or we've been buying them at Sam's Club. And
Yeah.
I know politically, that's something that in the past had been an issue. I haven't run into this being an issue here, and I can tell you that for $1 candy bar, we're making like 30 cents.
right.
And that's when we're buying it at Sam's Club. In the past, we bought it locally or we bought it from wherever. I think, I mean, we were pretty close to like selling things for what it cost us to buy them. And if that's
Yeah.
the case, maybe we shouldn't be in that business at all.
Well, I think we have to be in that business.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary, and I think it's necessary that you buy it wholesale.
It
But
is.
it
Well, you
is,
are
know,
going to save by doing it wholesale
you know,
versus.
and if it's not through Sam's Club or that, it's going through a food distributor.
Holiday wholesale and
It-
all those
right.
companies.
Somebody like that, because otherwise, you can't. You have to charge a price that kids aren't going to be able to afford it anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And
mean-
you don't want to put that on the parent either.
No, you don't, because
Right.
you want to keep that price. You want those quarter airheads, and you want stuff that the kids can afford to
Yeah.
buy, so they can have something.
Yep,
And, you know,
definitely.
if you get too high, it just your profit's actually going to go the other way because they're not going to be able to afford it. So.
Yeah, keeping items from a quarter to $1 is usually what,
Yep.
you know, especially like when we go to games and stuff, that's usually what,
Right.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like
No,
they do,
it's-
they do the carrot bags, the little, with the ranch dip for 50 cents, you know, and the kids are always gobbling, you know, that stuff down, so.
Yeah.
And it's just how you present it and stuff too, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So we sell Airheads and Ices, or a quarter, bags and chips 50 cents. All the candy bars, like Snickers, Starburst, Skittles, those types of candies, we sell them for $1. Cans of soda are $1. Bottles of water are $1, and then the Gatorades we sell for $1.50.
Those are all reasonable
Yep,
prices.
those are exactly
Yeah.
what the concessions for football were, for that stuff, so.
I mean, yeah.
And so we've got, every day we have a breakdown on how much we sold. And so we've got all that information. Now I'm just looking at a summary here.
Right.
And again, you know, off the cost, what it costs us, we're making 30 cents probably a unit, except for the bottled water, which we can buy for about 10 cents
I was
a
gonna say,
piece
yeah.
and then sell it for $1, and we make 90 cents on that. So I mean, we did okay on that. Not really selling a lot of soda though.
That's good.
Probably is a
really
good thing.
I'd have it
Yeah.
out. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
But it's
I
the
agree
airheads
with
and
you.
ices and that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So it's
Do they ever do like juice boxes or anything like that? Like that would be
I don't know that we haven't, but that
Like
doesn't mean that we
the-
couldn't though too. You know?
just a thought to have something. I mean, they're still full of sugar, but
yeah.
and then it would give you a lower price point for the kids that don't want water.
Mm-hmm.
Get them away from the soda, but the Gatorade's it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
And maybe add, I mean, if we can, I don't know, I'd even donate money to the city to do it, but maybe a little bit more of a healthier choice for
Like
those.
an apple.
You know what I'm saying though,
Yeah.
because there's those kids that don't.
Well,
We've got it's candy, soda,
Yeah,
or
sugar
bottled
high.
water.
Yeah.
You know,
well, when you
I mean,
start to talk about the apples and the carrots, and you start talking about a shelf life,
They go bad.
Yeah.
And so,
Even a
you know,
granola bar would be.
Granola bars.
granola
you know.
bars or trail mix of some sort is not bad.
Yeah, just
You
so a
know.
different,
Yeah.
you know, some
Right.
a little bit of a different. I
Right.
mean, you could start out with a small batch of
Right.
either one of those, and if it doesn't sell, then you know
Right.
not to do it again. But
Yep.
at least it's out there for
yeah.
those kids. Because I'm just thinking when we're at sports and there's concessions, my kids can't have any of the crap food until after all games are completed, and then they can have one choice. Otherwise, they have to make healthy choices. So I'm sure there's going to be some parents that
Right.
would probably
What
say
kind
the same.
of, I can no longer remember, my kids are too old. The refrigeration is up there for the sodas and that.
We have it's a regular
It's
like a
yeah.
refrigerator that's at your house, pretty much,
Regular refrigerator
with a freezer.
with the freezer. So, I mean, do they keep it stocked full of sodas?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've got some. They've got probably a case at a time of each. Case of Gatorade, and then I mean, we're not going through like the sales are like 2 Pepsis a day.
I would
3 Mountain
assume they
Dews.
keep the candy bars and that in there too.
Yep.
Because it's
No.
hot.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So the granola bars and the trail mix would probably all. I mean, it would all just stay in there.
Yep. Yep. And we've got room for it. I mean. Yep. The one thing that we do.
You're right. No, it
And
is.
they
And I-
should be
you know,
lower price
I was
points,
actually
too.
still thinking about the fruits and vegetables.
And that you could do, you know, like for. I mean, it's like I would do no more than 3 days because I just know for like the meal site, you know, our packaged foods can only be in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days,
Right.
and it has to be 40 degrees or lower
Sure.
for their temperature in there. So, I mean, even if you bought something like on a Tuesday and. You know, if you run out, you're just out for that week then, and you know, try it that way and just see
Right.
how much you're getting response for. It might surprise you on what these kids grab
Sure.
first, because you know, just with prior experiences with other stuff, when we've done fruit for the basketball concessions, it's gone just like that. That's like one of the first items, and they go before the donuts go.
Sure.
Right.
So,
Which is odd because you wouldn't think that.
right.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I mean, we have a freezer for the ices. I mean, we don't have any ice cream products though. I mean, that's something that if we wanted to look into, we probably could, but we just haven't. You know, we have I think the staff has like a pizza maker for their own stuff. The problem with that is the more stuff that you go that route in cooking,
no,
Yeah.
then you gotta license it as
Stay.
a restaurant
Right.
too, and
Right.
we're not gonna be able to do that
You get
there.
into health codes and,
I would
hair
stay away
nets
from
and
that. I
gloves
think
and-
if we just stick
no.
to what we.
No.
Oh yeah, and
this
that's
is
my preference.
This
Is
isn't
Yeah.
not
meant to be a
get
meal
real
time.
involved.
But you
Right.
know what? Something else we can do is encourage families for maybe birthday parties or something, because we do have that nice, you know, gazebo up there.
Yep.
You know, maybe encourage or you know something like with that nature too.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and in that, I mean, if you guys do any sort of advertising, you could put birthday party package and pick a number. At least then they'd see that, oh, you can have your birthday party there, or $2 a head, or I mean, however, whatever kind of pricing you want to do. But if you have it listed as an option, then they'll do it. If
Right.
you don't have it listed, they don't think about it.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of what I've modeled, what we do, is off of where I used to be in Ashwaubenon. They had the swim lake, but it had a sand beach. What they would do is they had a birthday party option where they would like, part of your cost would be a birthday cake that the village would
Oh,
go
cool.
order up for you too. So they had something like a package where you could get so many admissions for
Right.
X, plus they'd throw out a birthday cake and then,
You could do that with shelter rentals too.
right? Does the IGA do cakes though? I don't remember if they do now.
They have some cake, I mean, they have cakes in the frozen sections, but I'm sure if you talk to Wanda and Kenny about that, I'm sure that might be something, you know, they would have to order it, so.
Yeah, because they go in between having somebody back there that can decorate the cakes, and I don't know where they're at right now.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I asked too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
and I know they're on
Right.
vacation now, so might
Yeah.
be something just to ask to see options, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you pick that stuff, or do you allow Tim to order what he's comfortable with?
On here, you mean?
Yeah,
Usually I end up going to get it.
but you dictated, you allowed Tim to choose.
Well, the stuff that we've had out there
Mhm.
is the stuff that we've always had out
Okay.
there. So we're really just continuing what we've always done. It's not a lot of, hey, we need this or not. But Tim will say, you know, he'll let me know when they're low and when we need something. And, you know, because it's through Sam's is where we've been getting
Right.
it. We have a city account there.
Right.
But we don't have like individual card holders for the lifeguards to just go and get it. And whether you
Well,
want them doing
yeah,
that anyway,
well,
you probably don't. But
It's not for that. It's just that, you know, before. Although I'd like to see fruit and that stuff in the
Yeah.
south, I would be running it past Tim and say, okay, what are you comfortable with?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you
well,
want
definitely.
your people to work with? You know, I don't
Yep.
want to say, okay,
Right.
you're going to do this, this, and this.
right.
You know,
No,
it's
and he should have some, you know, so something we can ask him and see what he
Right.
says and go from there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like with the prices and stuff
Yeah.
too,
yeah.
Yeah.
and the other activities.
Yep.
So other than that, I mean, are there any other questions on how we're doing out there with
No.
revenues in that? I think, I mean, we're getting a lot. I think we have a lot of season passes. We're in like the 77. I think there's actually one more that I didn't know how to classify it on here. 'Cause it didn't have the number on what they paid. Usually tells you what it is. I mean, that's pretty good. And then with the swim lessons, I mean, we had 159 kids sign up for a session last year. So that's pretty good. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that I agree that this is pretty affordable too.
It is very.
And we want to keep it affordable, but I think
Definitely.
there is a room there
To adjust.
to negotiate a
Yeah.
little bit on that price.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's all I have. Recommendations on anything changing will probably come next month.
Okay.
So, okay?
All right.
Very
Any
good.
other such matters?
Nope.
Well, then I guess I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:36.